About 2 months ago, I went to the 2023 Sacramento Summer Mechanical Keyboard Meetup, and this video is just going to be me talking about my experience there and what I thought about some of the keyboards. Now, this meetup took place in the Bike Dog Tap Room, and because I can't be bothered to thoroughly research things, I assumed it was in some wide space where you could safely show off cool things like dogs or bikes or tap dancing. And so I brought with me the most expensive thing I own, one of my keyboards, my very first video actually, which is not a good video, don't watch that, that's beside the point. See, it turns out that this place is actually a brewing company, and there is lots of open food and beverages going around and people getting drunk. So that didn't make me comfortable. Especially when all these people were walking around with these open food and drinks and they were touching these really expensive keyboards. But luckily, as far as I know, nobody's keyboards got damaged, so it's fine, I guess. Anyways, onto the keyboards themselves. I don't really have much to say about most of these keyboards, so I'm just going to be flashing pictures of them on screen while I'm having this little rant, but I do have some thoughts about certain keyboards. In the background of this video, by the way, is going to be the sounds of this keyboard meetup. I didn't take any video of me actually typing on any of the keyboards because that would have been super awkward and I didn't feel like doing that. So this is just going to be random audio that I've taken. It's going to be on a loop, and don't read too much into it. It's not like every time I'm typing on a keyboard, that is the sound of the keyboard that I'm showing a picture of. Anyways, the first thing I want to say is that GMK Awaken is really nice. Like, I remember when GMK was announced, people thought it looked really cool, and then when they got their sets, they were really disappointed because the colors didn't match the renders. But like, there's a couple GMK Awaken sets here, and I liked it. I bought myself a set after coming to this keyboard meetup. The same goes for GMK Momo Yume. I think it's a nice looking set, and it looks better in real life than it does in the renders, honestly, in my opinion. But it's not nice enough for me to pick up a set myself. You know what I don't like, though, is those keyboards where they make a face out of the keycaps. Like, it's an aesthetic, I guess, but it's not personally for me, especially after coming to this meetup. When I saw renders of it, I thought, yeah, I don't really like that. But in real life, I'm like, yeah, I really don't like that. You know what I did like, though, was a Freya 65. This thing was absolutely gorgeous. It is a glass keyboard that was using ceramic keycaps, and it's just so beautiful. I was surprised by the number of split keyboards at this meetup, but then I realized that they all basically belong to the same person, so some of them used low profile switches, and I have to say that I don't like it. It just feels somewhat wrong. One of them belonged to a guy named Spicy Ramen though, and according to him, this is actually like his least or second least favorite keyboard. Like, he was considering just giving it away, but he was happy to see that some people did like it. Moving on to the sort of semi-split keyboards, there were a lot of Alice boards, and I have to say that my main takeaway from trying them out is that I like Alice boards, but only when they are tinted. A flat Alice board just feels wrong to me, and even almost less ergonomic than a staggered board. But I suppose if you want a truly ergonomic board, you might want to consider one of these things. I forgot what it's called, but I'm not sure it's worth the $700 he was selling them for. Don't get me wrong, I'm not doubting it's a good board, I'm just saying that if I'm paying $700 for something, I'm expecting parts that aren't 3D printed. This board here was custom Cerakoted, I guess, and I didn't get the full story about why they chose that design, but I like it. And there were a good number of artisan keycaps on display as well, but I really don't have that many thoughts about any of them. This was a really nice board though, like, I loved this. My favorite Gundam is actually Barbatos in terms of the Gundam design, but this is a close second. Like, wow, I wish I had that. There was also one corner in the back of the room that was just filled with Topras. I'm pretty sure they all belong to the same guy, and this is where I got to experience a Topra keyboard for my first time. There were a couple other Topras scattered around too, but the majority of them were in this one corner. And I have to say that I am not that impressed by the feel of it. I prefer the NX style sliders of the NIS keyboards than I do the Topras. There were also a couple uniquely shaped keyboards that I'm pretty sure are just a novelty, but I can't be certain that they don't type on them. I was also pleased to see the increase of boards that had a split spacebar. I mean, aside from boards that obviously need a split spacebar, like a split keyboard or an Alice board. I'm talking about like regular boards that have a split spacebar, whether that be 2 or 3 segments. It doesn't make any sense to me that we use both our thumbs on one spacebar. That doesn't... Why would we do that? It seems so inefficient. So I really like the fact that there are more boards coming out that do use a split spacebar, or at least give you the option to. I actually have plans in my head for what I think is a really cool keyboard idea, but I'm not going to talk about it just yet, because I want to make an entire video about it. Subscribe if you want to see me eventually maybe make that keyboard. Anyways, when it comes to my favorite keyboard at this meetup, besides my own obviously, because mine is going to be the best, the one that stood out the most to me would be this Mr. Suit. At first I didn't realize it was a Mr. Suit because I don't know what a Mr. Suit looks like off the top of my head, but once I did, I was like, wow, that explains a lot. That explains why so many people hype this keyboard up. Apparently, though, the owner of this keyboard normally doesn't build it with all the foam inside of it, but they put all the foam in because they figured, you know, people at this meetup would want to experience the Mr. Suit with the foam, and I have to say, it felt and sounded incredible. And normally that's where I would end a video, but apparently there's this company called bento.gg there. I can't find a website for them because apparently they don't have a website yet. They claim to work with really big companies like Intel, Logitech, League of Legends, etc, to make desktop stuff like desk mats. And they were here to get pictures of local custom keyboards for a book they're making. It would be something you might find in a coffee shop that you can peruse while waiting for your order, and if it goes well, they're thinking about making a volume 2. Some of the big YouTubers are already in, like Alexitos, and that is all I remember. Anyways, the point is that after the meetup, we were invited to go to a photo shoot that they set up, and let me tell you, that place was pretty jank. Like, it was next to a shut-down bowling alley, I think, and there were homeless people around, and I did not feel completely sure that we wouldn't get robbed. Luckily that didn't happen, so when we showed up we got our pictures taken and we got to chat with a bunch of other people that were in the keyboard hobby. There were some cool people there like Kaiso or Kaiso V or Kaiso, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. But he was there along with Barrett Creative, who showed up right before we left because we were getting tired and hungry. They did collect our contact information though before we left so that they could, you know, interview us and try to get our names and anything we want to say to put in that book, but I haven't heard back from them yet, so I'm not sure if that's been put on hold or anything. So yeah, that about sums up my experience at the Summer Sacramento 2023 keyboard meetup. If you were there, let me know and what your thoughts were. I was that guy that was trying way too hard to promote their YouTube channel. And if you want to know my thoughts about any of these specific boards that I didn't really mention, let me know as well, but there's a pretty good chance I've completely forgotten all my thoughts about them because it's been 2 months. I'm a little bit late. If you've managed to make it this far in the video, you might as well leave a like and subscribe. I won't make too many videos in this style because I don't leave the apartment ever, but when I do go to another meetup, I would like to get my thoughts down on video, preferably sooner than 2 months later while my thoughts are still fresh. And I'm hoping that by the time I go to another meetup, I'll be able to bring a really cool keyboard that I've been waiting months to build. If you're watching this after I've built that keyboard, then it should be on screen now. But until then, the end screen is just going to be showing my latest video. Check it out if you want to see more of my content, and I'll see you next time.